All right, time to do another bubble update. Um, as I've said before, I think the bubble is going to be in tech again. That's where the excesses are. Um, I think it's going to be led by the fang stocks, and I'll show you some of those in a minute. But here's the consolidation zone that we were in since mid-February. I noted when the breakout occurred that we were getting the breakout, and while there was a possibility of a retest, um, I didn't really expect price to fall back down into this consolidation zone, and we got kind of a kind of sort of retest last week. But now the Nasdaq is closing in on that 1500 mark, and I'm going to say that there's going to be a lot of people trying to pick tops during this, and let me stress again that there is going to be volatility, especially as the parabolic, the bubble phase of the market uh, progresses and gets more mature. We'll have big, scary profit-taking events, 10 or 15% down moves in a very short period of time. You need to expect that. The first one uh, will almost certainly be recovered, so don't make the mistake of thinking that big scary correction, that's the top of the bubble. It almost uh, the, the odds are very slim that the first one will be. Latecomers will use that really first scary pullback to buy and get on board, and probably even maybe a second volatility event will not mark the top. That the top won't come until people quit trying to pick tops and everybody becomes convinced that there is no downside risk. The Fed's got your back, and they'll just print more money, and the market, is going permanently higher. We're not at that sentiment level yet. We're still very early in the bubble phase. Many people are still trying to pick tops. I don't think the retail has really started to pile into the market yet. And that's what is required for the bubble. The retail traders, unsophisticated retail traders, have to pile into the market. They're placing market orders, hitting extremely wide ask prices, and that's what causes the market to go parabolic. And I'm not seeing that yet. When you start to hear the people sitting next to you in the restaurant talking about how much money they're making day trading the stock market, that's when we're getting close. All right, so this is what we've been really waiting on to ignite that final parabolic move. Is Apple has to break out, and it tried to do that yesterday, but failed. Today it is trying again, and as of right now, anyway, it looks like it's going to accomplish the breakout. Amazon, Microsoft, Facebook, Nvidia, um, Google, all of the other FANG stocks have already broken out. We were just waiting for Apple to join the rest of the crew, and it appears to be doing that today. And this should ignite that final bubble phase. And let me say again, at that bottom in 2009, that was the second worst bear market in history. So I think we can assume that this the bubble phase of this bull market is probably going to be one for the record books as well. It could very well challenge the percentage type gains that we saw in 2000. And remember, the Nasdaq added almost 100% in like the last 4 or 5 months in that bubble. We could see something similar here. Now let me move over to the Nasdaq 100 because that's where the real parabolic move is going to occur. All right, so this is the QQQ. It's the ETF that tracks the Nasdaq 100, and you can see, I mean, this has been a pretty aggressive move out of the slingshot back here in 2020, and you can see as price has come out of this, and as the Nasdaq has broken out of that consolidation box, the angle of the rally is starting to increase, and uh, that should continue and maybe even become more aggressive as the final bubble um, proceeds. So I'm guessing we've got, we started this back in May, but we didn't really break out until last month. So I'm going to say we've probably got uh, at least 3 months of this. So I think maybe we get a top sometime in mid to late September, maybe even lasts as far as into October before we get our first initial crash. But again, let me stress again that there's going to be some volatility along the way as this move gets mature. Traders are going to become nervous, especially professional traders will become nervous, and there will be extreme profit-taking events. So expect that along the way. But again, I think this has to go further than anyone is anticipating before we want to try and pick a top. So um, as I've been saying for several years, I don't think 20,000 is out of the question um, on the Nasdaq before this bubble pops, and it may even go further than that. And then to close here, I'm going to look at the advanced decline line. I mentioned this before that during that final bubble phase, usually the advanced, well, as a secular bull market is topping, usually you'll get a divergence in the advanced decline line as fewer and fewer stocks are participating, and the market is driven higher by just a handful of um, of leaders. And as I said, that's I'm pretty sure that's going to be the fang stocks. And so you can see we're starting to get that divergence, even though the Nasdaq and the S&P are making higher highs. Uh, we're getting deterioration underneath the surface. So a warning sign that we're more than likely, unless this gets corrected, more than likely we are coming to the end of this bull market that started in 2009, and it's probably going to end like most of these secular bull markets do with a huge parabolic blow off top that then crashes and will almost certainly send the economy into a tailspin. It will almost certainly cause central banks to redouble their printing efforts, which will cause more inflation, higher, another spike in commodity prices. It will exacerbate the recession, and I think we're going to have some hard times, maybe starting this fall or early in 22.